Okay, so when I got a new connector from the junkyard, because I messed up my original fuel pump connector. I didn't film a lot of this because I kind of forgot, but I took out this rubber piece, and then you had these types of OEM wires in here, right? Okay, so the green black is the power to the fuel pump. Okay, then you had a black gray, which is like this, or black blue. You can see it. That's the ground, which is, that color is the ground in the whole car. So let me see if I can find a, and then this green black is the power. Okay, so now that I have a new fuel pump in there that is gonna have higher output, I needed to upgrade the gauge. So my power one is still green. All I did is I just took the two wires and I connected it, slid it down, and then I tailed the other end on. So it kind of looks, I'm using two of the same wires, but it's kind of like, dang it. Anyway, I can't show you, but you can look it up how to connect two wires together. It's just you kind of overlap it like, anyway, I can't, I only got one hand. So anyway, but I don't want to prop it up. But, so I did that, and then I got some heat shrink. Well, I did some solder. I put some solder in some of the areas where, at the end of where the fold of each wire was touching the other wire right at the end. I try to slide it down as much as possible, get some solder in there. Then I did it at the top end, and then somewhere in the middle. I took the right size heat shrink, ran it all the way down inside the connector, and heat shrunk it, and then I took this rubber thing and then slid the new wire through it, jammed it in there. I mean, it's a lot, there's a lot more in there going on, but hopefully it doesn't short out. But so, I mean, it's a lot of it's connected in there and covered with this heat shrink. So anyway, and then you got this little black cover. There's this little black cover you have to take off right here, right? And slide that on, and it'll clip right here and right there, and it'll slide it on and hold it. To take it off is you just stick a little screwdriver in there like this, right? Just slide it in. Just be careful, don't break that edge off. Just slide in there, little click, and it'll come off. And then this, you just pull it out best you can. That's it. And then I'm using 12 feet of wire. That should be plenty enough to get to my fuse box. I'll have a little extra so when I want to run it. And so now I'm just going to stick this black cap on and see, hopefully it fits. See how it's so much thicker inside there that it's a good thing that this is real stretchy. But I'm going to go ahead and put the cap on. I might have to open up the hole for the cap to fit over here. Most likely. Those two holes right there. Just took like a file like this. I'm just going to keep opening them up until I can fit them through. And then you clip it on. But that's what I'm using, just like a circular file like that. I guess you guys can use whatever you want, but I happen to have a rusty one. My soldering gun. And I just melted it all open. Instead of having separate segments, I just melted it open enough to where I can put it over all that and clip it in. So that's how I got that. Now, hopefully it's gonna work and it's all connected right and insulated right. There we go. It's clipped in. Should be insulated well. Now I just got to connect these two to the truck harness, and then the fuel pump should be done. Well, on the fuel tank side, and then I gotta go and run these two ends, kind of do the similar thing to the fuse box. That one's gonna be tough because it's Fuse box is kind of hard to keep flipped over and stuff. But the upgrades I'm doing is bigger gauge wire to the fuel pump, because the fuel pump is a bigger one, requires more draw from it. Let's see. So here's the fuel pump relay. That pin right there is the dark green with black stripe one. So figuring it out, I had to figure out how to take the pin out. Okay, so let me so this thing here, to take this block out, there's little pins, little clips on the side. Down there, okay. Just clip that, you can slide it out if that helps you. Well, you actually have to, because there is this little sliding mechanism that goes through here. That is right there. See how it's missing there? See how that is there? So what I did is I took screwdriver, wedged it in here, okay. All right, and then I took these little small thin needle noses, okay. And see those two tabs right here? You know, all I did is I took those and I squeezed them together and pushed down, okay. And at the same time, I kind of just pushed this further down, because the further it goes down, the wider the screwdriver gets. So it'll push it out enough to pass the clips. It'll slide out, and I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this. So I already took the pin out, but if you see, you need that little piece out. If you see that little clip right there, you have to get something thin inside there, like this little screwdriver. And I just dropped it. But you get in there and you manipulate it, but at the same time as you hold the back of the wire, as you're manipulating this, and then it'll slide right out, okay? And so that's what I did. And since I have to let's see where, hold on, let me find this wire. Oh, so here, I clipped it off, right? Because this wire now means nothing anymore. That's the one that's going all the way to the fuel pump. I already changed the one at the fuel pump connector. So that's how you unclip, take the pins out of the fuse box, okay? Now, I clipped this much wire off with the pin on this end and that much wire. So I'm gonna take that inside. I'm gonna take the pin apart and connect the new wire inside, and I can come in and wire out it all go all the way to my fuel pump. But to take the pin out, that took a little bit of just thought process, and I couldn't find anything online for these. I just kind of figured it out. So hopefully that helps you with depinning the relay block. Okay, so the background noise you're about to hear is we're in quarantine and my daughter's doing her PE class. But here's a clip out of the relay box for the fuel pump. So now I need to connect the bigger gauge wire, see, quite a bit bigger in there. So what I'm going to attempt to do, take apart this part of it and then see if I can reuse this and put that inside there. And then I'll put heat shrink over this just to be extra safe or insulated. I'm going to attempt that right now. Take this apart, that apart, if I can slide it in, get back at you. Okay, so what I ended up doing is I didn't take the old wire off because the little clamps that kind of pinch it on, I felt like if I moved around, like I did too much of it, it's going to break off, and then I'd have a hard time getting this wire on. So all I did is just strip it down all the way, and then I just wrapped around the bigger gauge wire around here. I split that into two, wrapped around this way, and then I wrapped the other one around the copper wire, the thinner wire, and I took the thinner wire and wrapped it around so it's interlocked. And I had heat shrink, so that's it. All I'm gonna do now is just make sure that it fits in one of these holes. That it's a little snug. That's what happens sometimes when you get this thicker. But it looks like it's gonna go in there. I'll clip it back. I'm not ready to clip it in there yet because I still need to run the wire through, up through the harness, through this mess, and well, through that mess right there, and then bring it through. Pretty much just follow this wire that I clipped off. I'll end up leaving that just in there. I don't need to take it out, but because it's not connected to anything on both ends, it's not. And this is the new harness I made for the fuel pump, and I'll run it back through. I think that's it. And I think the negative doesn't go into the relay box. The negative, I think, from what I remember, I haven't been under there, but I know that it attaches, I think actually probably somewhere right there. Hold on, my low battery. Somewhere under there somewhere. It attaches there, and I can just negatively put it there. I'll trim the wire down for that. Put a little clamp on it. All right, so the last bit of the wiring. So what I decided to do with the two wires that I upgraded, which is the dark green black and then the black with the light blue or gray for the ground, is I decided to use a separate wire loom instead of trying to stuff it in the old wire loom because of the tape, and it's just hard. So I'm just going to run this new one along everything here. Okay, and that's it. And I just measured my lengths. Sorry. And then I just fed it up through there and around over back there, and I just followed this, and then it comes out here. So, and then I just took the ground wire out, connected it here. I left all the grounds that were there on. I know that the fuel tank comes here somewhere in one of the older grounds, but I'm not sure if like there was other grounds spliced into the wire somewhere in the harness, so I just left all the grounds connected. So here is the ground that comes off, okay? And then now that is the loom that's gonna go up. I'm gonna follow it with this loom that goes all the way up. Get up and I'll show you. So now here's, excuse me. So here's the loom that comes. Dang it. Hold on. So there's the loom right there. So I'm bringing it up. I'm going to follow this old harness. I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to tuck it in the plastic. And then try to maybe just retape all that. Run it through the tape. And then here it is right here. And then I already have it hooked up inside the relay. So that's how I just ran it. So there you go. That's all I'm doing, putting it in a new loom, running it as far as I can. I mean, using the new loom and tracing the old wiring harness, connecting it to there. So that's all I got. Now we got to see if it works though, for real. Like, I haven't powered on the fuel pump yet, so I don't know.